Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is upcoming campaigns for the month of November. We're going to be diving into a bunch of campaigns, and usual reminder before we do that I do work for GameFound. Please take that into account as we go through these campaigns. But before we even do that, let's start with Level Up a Treat. We ran Level Up a Treat last year in July, and there's a lot of stuff you can find on the internet, various content on my channel, other people's vlogs, but it's basically a playing board games convention that takes place in, well, this year it's going to be in Woodbridge, New Jersey. It's going to be for February 2nd to 4th, and if you want to use the code EARLYBIRD, if you go ahead and use the discount code EARLYBIRD, you'll get $15 off a VIP package. That code expires November 8th, so please go ahead and, if you do want to get that additional savings, make sure to subscribe sooner, make sure to sign up sooner rather than later. I'll have more information on the retreat. I'll also have a video hopefully going up on the channel. It won't be like a ton of information, but just telling you, hey, in case you missed it, this is the information. This is Level Up a Treat. That's going to be, all your stuff about Level Up a Treat. And with that, let's go ahead and move to Shelf Clutter. Shelf Clutter goes ahead and he does the videos on upcoming crowdfunding campaigns every single week. If you want the newest, most up-to-date information that has all the games, make sure to subscribe to Shelf Clutter. I do these videos once a month, and that does mean that I have to skip some things just because I can't cover absolutely everything. It also means my information is more subject to change because it's once a month and I don't have the newest up-to-date campaigns. Even in this video, I have like a ton of campaigns all the way up to mid-November, and then the last 10 days of November there's like one campaign, although I'm realizing now that might not be a lack of information. That might be companies planning around the whole Black Friday situation. So maybe, who knows. But either way, subscribe to Shelf Clutter if you want the most up-to-date information. And then finally, one last thing before we start, but our sponsor of today's video is going to be Erune Light and Darkness, or specifically, I guess, Arcata Studio. Arcata Studio is going to be our sponsor of today's video. They have Erune Light and Darkness with 20 hours left to go on this campaign, so this is your last chance to pick this up. I guess they'll have a late pledge as well, but this is your second last chance to pick up this app-driven dungeon crawler that's going to have you facing off as the various heroes and the Master of Shadows in a campaign-driven, app-driven system with a lot of narrative, a lot of running the game, a lot of Minions of Darkness, and all these things to go through with amazing art, miniatures, all those stuff. Go ahead and check it out. I have a link down in the description down below. Please keep in mind that if you do use that link, then it will benefit the channel. And with that, finally, we can go ahead and start off with Wild Duo. Wild Duo over here is going to be coming up, and some of the first few campaigns I believe are actually October 31st campaigns, but we're close enough, so let's go ahead and talk about them. We have Wild Duo from Mark Durer. They previously did Zoo Tycoon. They brought Zoo Tycoon to life, which actually is finally delivered, and we have, well, not finally delivered, we have Wild Duo over here, which is going to be a set of 5 abstract titles. So if you want to get a set of 5 different abstract games, I will have coverage on the channel. I'll be reviewing the game, but Wild Duo is launching on Kickstarter very shortly. Over on GameFound, we have Nova Aetas Renaissance, The Last Chance. This is going to be your last chance to dive into Nova Aetas Renaissance from Magnate Studios. This is a cooperative, campaign, story-driven game with like different endings and all these things, tons of miniatures, building on their previous Nova Aetas line with AI-driven systems, AI-driven enemies and all that stuff, a little board that manages your time and your actions in this. This is one I have not had a chance to play yet. There's a possibility that I'll be covering it for the campaign. I don't know yet. But it's going to be launching in basically a day. It's going to be launching in a day. This is your last chance to pick up Nova Aetas Renaissance before they go ahead and, start shipping all of that. So they have a whole bunch of, this is already a Kickstarter, and now they're like, hey, by the way, we got some last stuff to go in case you want to sign up for it before this thing ships. Then we have over here Wizards of the Grimoire Shifting Sands. I don't have an exact date for this one, unfortunately, but this is going to be an expansion to Wizards of the Grimoire. An amazing game. Disclaimer, I have done, Board Game Co. has done paid content around this game, but since then, I've also reviewed it, so you can go, well, the review's coming soon, I guess, so it's not actually out yet. But I have a review of Wizards of the Grimoire and Shifting Sands. This is it's a game, the base game is available on Board Game Arena. I highly recommend it. I think it's a fantastic head-to-head dueling system. If you like games like Radlands, if you like games like Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Grimoire is really going to speak to you. This is going to be launching. It's just more content. That's all it is. This is more content, more cards for an already good game. It's not doing anything new. I mean, there are some small things that are new, but it's not anything new in the sense that if you don't like the game, this is not going to change your mind. But if you like the game and want more card variety, Wizards of the Grimoire Shifting Sands is going to give you that. We have the Queen's New Capital. I believe this is launching on November 1st. The Queen's New Capital is going to be coming to you from Rodrigo Esper. This is a deck-based system, a deck-building game in which you're trying to build out your capital, trying to gather buildings, gather leaders, and try to manage your allegiances in the game as you ultimately try to get as many points as possible. There's going to be different scenarios you can play. They'll all have different number of awards that you have to try to get your hands on, but you're trying to move your way up these track, earn these awards, and try to accomplish the specific scenario goals while taking into account how to build out your deck and what combination of leaders are going to most enhance your ability to do so. That's going to be the Queen's New Capital launching November 1st. I believe we will have paid content around this game. We have Cargo Empire, dominate the markets with only one action. This is a game from Aetas Game Design, which is phenomenally intriguing in the sense that the game says that there's only one action. It's just one action, that's all you have, which I don't know enough about what that action is, but the idea, the premise of that does appeal to me. So I'm curious what that action is. Obviously the action will have some nuance. Maybe it's going to be place a worker is one action, but I don't know how it works. I don't know how that works, but I am interested in Cargo Empire from Aetas Game Design. The idea of a simple game, but strategically dense, that definitely appeals to me. That's going to be launching early November. We have Birds and Booty, Print, Play, and Pirate. This is coming to you from No Box Games. It's going to be a print and play roll-and-write game, with I imagine a pirate theme. We have Calimala from Alley Cat Games. Calimala is going to be it's already an existing game. I think I want to say it's a 2017 title if I'm not mistaken, a 7.2 on Board Game Geek, and Alley Cat Games, or 7.4, but I think it's 7.2. Alley Cat Games are going to be bringing it to Kickstarter November 6th, so if you want to check that out, that will be coming shortly. Then we have over here, we have Acheron's Fall from Rampart Design. This will be launching shortly on GameFound, I believe another November 2nd-ish campaign maybe. This is going to be a space battle game, which you're going to be able to control your ship, managing as it goes through space with its own, not initiative system. With its own, where can I find this? It's going to be associated with the Corvus Belly, but they have a system over here that's going to manage the inertia of the ship. I don't know what the system is, but they actually had that in a different game. There's been a different game that managed ships and inertia in space. It looks like they're trying to do a similar thing, but it's going to be Acheron's Fall, coming in association with Corvus Belly, and giving you your own space battle system. Then over here, we're going to be moving on to Machines to the Sky, coming from the Moongrill. The Moongrill previously did, I can't remember the name of the game. They had another game, but I can't remember what it's called. But they had another title over there on Kickstarter. The Moongrill is going to be bringing you another one in Machines to the Sky, Forge Innovative Techs, and Flee the Dying Earth in this dystopian strategy board game. Don't have a ton of information on how this one plays, but Machines to the Sky coming from the Moongrill. We have Undergrove coming from AEG, Elizabeth Hargrave, and Mark Witten. This is going to be Undergrove is going to be a game which you're trying to be balancing, building out various, mushrooms or whatnot. You're going to have different terrain, different tiles on the board, trying to build mushrooms as efficiently as possible in an AEG title. It's going to be one of their it's slightly more, slightly heavier than like games like Waffle Time. Looks like it's aiming to be in the what's the other butterfly game? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the butterfly. Papillon? No, that was a different game. That is also a butterfly game, but a different one. Mariposas. It looks like this game aiming for the game weight of Mariposas. I had a chance to briefly see this one at Gen Con this past year. Didn't get a chance to actually play it so much as just see a few rounds, like showing how it goes. But it's going to be Undergrove coming from AEG very shortly on Kickstarter. We have Perseverance Castaway Chronicles launching shortly on GameFound. It's going to be episodes 3 and 4 of Perseverance, bringing you more Yuri goodness from Mind Clash games. I have not played these myself. I haven't played any of the Perseverance, but I know Jeremy Howard, who played the first 2 episodes, and has also played episode 3, I believe. He said this one really bites in terms of bites might be the wrong term. Really, he said it's a really good game in terms of it's better than the first 2. If I'm recalling correctly, he was very impressed by this one. And I know from people who've also had a chance to demo this one, this is at Gen Con, this is at Essen, I know people have had a chance to demo this one. Overall, the feedback on Perseverance episode 4 has been very positive. And we got dinosaur saddles. We got saddles for our dinosaurs. I don't believe those were in episode 1. I could be mistaken, but I think that the saddles are new. But it's bringing you more content for your Perseverance system set in this island that you've landed on. You're making your headways into it. It's kind of it's 4 different Euro games, but all set procedurally as far as a story. So you land on the island, you're trying to make inways on the island, and now you're trying to go ahead and turn the previously hostile beasts into loyal allies in episode 3 or 4 or one of those as you go through it. That's going to be Perseverance, launching shortly on GameFound. Then we have KELP, Shark vs. Octopus, a 2-player asymmetrical game. This is coming to you from Wonderbow Games. KELP is a 2-player asymmetric game with 1 player taking control of a shark, 1 player taking control of an octopus. The octopus is dealing with a bunch of deck building and action economy, and the shark is slowly trying to upgrade their bag building as they try to set up the board and the waterways for success. Highly asymmetric. This is a game that's going to give you a lot of challenges as far as how you approach each side. You really want to play as both sides to fully understand the ways to react and counter and deal with both sides in the game. That's going to be KELP, launching shortly on Kickstarter. I should have review coverage for the game. We have Stars of Akarios 1.5 plus new content from Open Owl Studios. This is bringing you new content for Stars of Akarios, plus, it's a 1.5. There's going to be an upgrade pack, I believe. We're going to have there will be an upgrade pack for all the new content in 1.5. Stars of Akarios is Gloomhaven in space. That's been the pitch of the game. It's basically going to have you engaging and dealing with space battles, as well as a few other things. A bunch of other things going on in the game, but, 70% of the game is going to be space combat. Very much a Gloomhaven type system. This one I've had a chance to to play, like, I've had a chance to play this briefly, like maybe the first 2 or 3 space battles. I have not fully dived into the game yet, and I want to do so. I may have content on this game. I'm not yet sure. We'll find out. There may be we may have more content on the game on the channel. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't yet. All of those things. That's going to be Stars of Akarios, launching shortly on GameFound. Then we have over here, we have Ravaged Star Tabletop Miniature Wargame. Another one launching on GameFound. This is bringing you a Ravaged Star miniatures game. Ravaged Star launched on GameFound last year, 2 years ago, whenever it was. And they had a whole miniatures line from the sculptors behind Wild Descent, but the company of Mini Wargaming, which is its own YouTube channel, its own audience. And they brought you a line of miniatures, and now they're bringing you a game to back up that line of miniatures as well. I think they also have new miniatures. I'm not certain. They have unboxings of the miniatures already. You can check this out. In fact, this campaign page is an absolute ton of information to scroll through as it is. They already have everything up already. You can check out a ton of stuff. This is going to be launching November 7th over on GameFound. Then we have over here, we have Misty Waters at the Rural Edge. I highly recommend checking out the video for this game. This is going to be bringing you a sandbox style, you know, not really 4X, but sandbox style kind of thing, Merchants and Marauders or Xayah, Legend of a Drift system, that kind of system, bringing you your ships on the open sea as you try to take control of territories, battle various creatures, battle the other players. It looks like a giant sandbox adventure. If you like those kinds of games, if you like Xayah, Legend of a Drift system, this may well appeal to you. I highly recommend checking out the video. The video is very, very, appealing, convincing, I don't know. The video makes me want the game more than the art or the title on its own, but just seeing the gameplay, seeing the giant sharks you'll be facing off against, the krakens, trying to get control of various islands, looks like it has a dash of 4X combined with, you know, Xayah Legend of a Drift system in a fun system. That's going to be launching November 10th-ish, I want to say, over on GameFound. November 10th, 11th, somewhere in that range, over on GameFound. Then we have over here, we have WARTBURG Paris 879 from Butterfly Games. This looks like a cooperative, competitive, and replayable criminal investigation game. The replayable part has me the most interested in terms of how they manage that. It's going to have you, you know, we have 8 people invited to a castle, or 11 people. 11 people have been invited to visit Germany's most famous medieval castles, and during the night, one of the guests has been murdered, and no one has seen anything. So it's giving you basically a mystery game, but it has a degree of replayability to it, which has me intrigued because I'm curious how that plays out. I mean, I guess Clue is a replayable mystery game, so I guess it's not that. I'm thinking more escape room games and not really mystery games, so I guess replayable makes sense. That's going to be WARTBURG Paris 879, launching on GameFound, I want to say November 14th-ish, 13th-ish, somewhere in that range. We have Wasabi, a game of raw skill, coming to you from KTPG Games. I believe this is going to be launching November 14th, if I'm not mistaken, but this is going to be, Wasabi is a game of trying to place out various ingredients onto the board in the goal of trying to accomplish certain recipes in the game. You're trying to accomplish your recipes, you have your hand of recipe cards, you're trying to lay out the board, taking advantage of others' placements while placing out your own tiles at the same time. This is going to be in KTPG's line of games. This is going to be launching on Kickstarter November 14th, I think, and we will have paid content on the game. Then we have Firesiege from Deer Game Studios. Firesiege is going to be launching over on GameFound, again, November 14th-ish. This is going to be a cooperative game with hidden information. You're going to have a hand of cards, and think Hanabi in the sense that you have a hand of cards, but you can only reveal what you can only talk about what you see loosely, and your opponent, your teammates, can see the back of your cards because your cards are good and bad. One side is good, one side is bad, and when you play a card, you're going to do all the bad things and all the good things, but you don't have that perfect information because you know for yourself either all the bad or all the good. And then you're loosely relying on your teammates to be able to tell you just how bad the bad is or just how beneficial the good is as you try to plan around how to play a card. Meanwhile, you have hordes of enemies slowly marching towards the center of your board over here. You can have this board, the center of the board. You have these various hordes slowly trying to break in as you try to defeat the various nests and try to defeat the various enemies that show up over here while accomplishing 3 different goals with the effort of trying to win before you get completely overwhelmed in the game. So elements of tower defense, elements of cooperative play, elements of hidden information, a lot of things going on in Firesiege from Deer Game Studios. Then we have over here, we have Food Chain Magnate Special Edition coming from Lucky Duck Games. Another November 14th launch over here. This is going to be the deluxe edition of Food Chain Magnate, which is going to be bringing you all the same gameplay you've already used to. There's no gameplay changes at all in any way, shape, or form. They've said up, down 17 times over. There's no gameplay changes. There's just, you know, making Food Chain Magnate a more deluxeified experience, making it a more premium experience, so everything looks cool, seems cool, and just has all the gameplay you like, but without people complaining about how it looks like someone designed it in the back of paint and didn't even bother to add color while they're at it. That's going to be Food Chain Magnate Special Edition, launching on GameFound November 14th. Then we have over here, we have 1793 Patriots and Traitors, another November 14th launch over here. 1793 Patriots and Traitors is going to be, well, this one's more of a wargame genre, I believe. Sound of Drums GmbH. They have more wargame stuff. I don't have a ton of information on how this game plays, but launching over on GameFound November 14th. Then Then we have over here Singularity from Octothorpe, launching on November 14th as well. I believe this one may have been delayed a few times, I'm not sure. But Singularity brings you a card play based game, a card play system designed to appeal to those who want that kind of control, that MTG style gameplay, but with complete control. There's going to be no hand shuffling, no shuffling, no random elements, just a ton of cards and trying to utilize those cards in combination with each other as efficiently as possible to be able to take down your opponents. Designed as a competitive play, I believe there's solo and co-op modes coming as well for this game, but overall the art appeals to me, the game appeals to me, the style of game appeals to me. Whether or not it ends up being a game that I like or not, who knows. Like Wizard of the Grimoire was a game that I was not expecting to like, and I found I really enjoyed that one once I dove into it. I'm hoping the Singularity finds itself in the same vein, but either way, we'll find out more. I believe we'll have paid content over the Board Game channel around the game as well. Then we have over here, we have Wish, coming to you from Silverbow Games. Wish is a game of, well, taking control of one of 4 mighty djinns, each with their own unique abilities, as you try to gather as many points as possible, coming to you from Silverbow Games, launching November 14th on Kickstarter. Then we have DCeased, the Zombicide game. Zombicide's coming back with a DCeased Let me start again. Zombicide is coming back with the Marvel zombie system applied to the DC universe instead. So we're gonna have Superman as a zombie. I imagine we'll have Superman as a hero as well. If this is anything, if a Marvel Zombies was anything to go by, this is going to be a crazy. I mean, we'll see what happens with the campaign. There's 11,000 people following it right now, which is lower than I would think. But I am intrigued because we're both gonna have the appeal of people wanting all of this, like myself, but also the managing your Calyx collection and your shelf space and just having all this Marvel zombie stuff showing up as well means it's going to be an interesting. I'm curious where this one goes. I'm curious. I don't think we're going to see the $7 million high that we saw from Marvel Zombies. If I had to guess, I'd say we're going to see, mid $4 millions if I had to guess. There's definitely going to be an audience and an appeal for this, but also a lot of those people spent their budget on Marvel Zombies and don't necessarily have the budget or the justification to go all in on DCs. But we'll see. They're going to be launching November 14th, and there will be paid coverage on the Board Game Co. channel. Then we have Tiny Tables from, I'm not going to know how to pronounce it over here. Tiny Tables is going to be launching over on GameFound. This is a campaign full of, well, tiny tables. That's what it is. A bunch of tiny tables that are meant to hold components. That's what these are. These are component holders or just fun little things to put on your board. They're half fun, half useful, half actually playing some small games on these legitimately tiny tables. That's what these are over here. So it's almost, I'm not even sure what to classify this as. Is it a board game accessory? Is it a table gizmo gadget? I don't really know. Whatever it is, it's tiny tables launching on GameFound November 14th. Then we have wooden accessories for dice games. This is going to be jumping ahead 6 days, so we're going to be looking at November 20th campaign. Wooden accessories for dice games. Everything to store and roll the dice without causing a disaster on your table. So dice trays, just fancy your dice trays, launching over on GameFound. Then we have Horizon Forbidden West, Seeds of Rebellion, launching November 21st, defying the whole, Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up. Horizon Forbidden West, Seeds of Rebellion, coming to you from Steve Forge Games, is going to give you all the, Horizon Zero Dawn content you want as far as, taking the Horizon Zero Dawn system, upgrading to Forbidden West. This is one that I have had a chance to play already, and it basically leans much more heavily into the stealth mode, and much more heavily into the cooperative modes, and much more into the campaign story elements of the game as well, while taking the core systems that made Horizon, taking the core systems that worked well in Horizon, and trying to move past the systems that didn't work quite as well, or upgrade or tweak those systems. That's going to be Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Seeds of Rebellion. Forbidden West, Seeds of Rebellion. I will have content on this game. There'll be a playthrough over on Professor Meg's channel, and there will be a review / first impressions as well of the game over on my channel. And then lastly, moving on, we have Chaos Cove and Martin Wallace. This is going to be launching, I believe, sometime in November. I don't have an exact date, but it's going to be a worker placement game from Martin Wallace with a splashy art. It looks to be a slightly lighter Martin Wallace game compared to something like Steam, but maybe above Via Nebula if you've played any of those games and you want to figure out where this one lies. There's going to be more Martin Wallace, fantastic designer. I've yet to play a game from him that I didn't like. The only question for me has always been how much did I like any one of his games versus any of the other games. So that's going to be Chaos Cove, coming to you from Ape Games and Martin Wallace. The best party the world has ever seen, which seems intriguing over here. There's a worker placement game. Deploy each of the 16 heroes of Chaos Cove while taking advantage of the individual talents. Earn victory points by winning land and sea battles. Admire 16 charming hero meeples inspired by Mr. Cunnington's art. All of that and more from Chaos Cove over on GameFound. And that is everything. Reminder to go ahead and subscribe to Shelf Clutter if you want the most up-to-date information, whatever campaigns get pushed off, whatever campaigns get added, all of that stuff over on Shelf Clutter. And until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.